We're back, baby. It's the charity straw pitcher free throws because they are free. Fisher Tosopoulos, Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. We are live. The Denver Nuggets are your NBA champions.
World champs.
World
champs.
First time ever in the history of the franchise. Mike Malone, just a couple things I want to throw out there. Mike Malone is the coach of 8 years. I had a conversation with my buddy and a couple conversations we've been having in the past. People are so quick to fire coaches, change it up in the NBA. This is a coach where they let things ride. Things weren't perfect. They hadn't been to the finals yet. They'd been to the Western Conference Finals. They'd had injuries. They let Mike Malone coach this team and stick with this team, and I think it paid off. Also, to me, very interesting, and I have no shame in saying I think it was there's a lot of confusion when Mike Malone was hired. He was a great assistant for the Warriors. Steph, Draymond, a lot of those guys gave him credit for building upon what the Warriors became. He went to Sacramento. After 2 seasons, I believe, they fired him. They fired him early into the second season. And many people were like, oh, another recycled coach, recycled goods. Is that a good hire for Denver? And ultimately, I think it proved to be the right hire for Denver. He's done a great job with this team, done a great job with helping develop Jokic, Murray, MPJ, installing Aaron Gordon with the team. Jokic there's 15 guys in the history of the league that have won multiple MVPs. Jokic was one of 3 that hadn't won a title. I'm assuming you can name the other 2. Just throwing out there a little brain twister, an easy one to get you working in the morning. Early in the show.
Am I going with it right now?
Going with it right now. Multi MVP, no finals win.
Multi MVP, no finals win. Okay, just thinking back on the guys who have won.
There's only 2 of them.
MVPs. There's only 2 guys, right? Besides Jokic. Well, now that he's won, he's not on that list anymore. It's not any of the. It's obviously not Steph. It's obviously not Giannis, not LeBron, not Kobe. Just thinking about the guys that have won multiple MVPs. It's not Bird.
Kobe has 1 MVP
in his career. 2 finals MVPs. Okay. But they're both have to be before 2000.
One was after 2000. One was before 2000.
Well, Harden and Bruss each won 1 MVP.
Correct.
Okay. Nash, of course.
Your hint was almost one of your.
Right. I get your Kobe hint now. Yeah, thank you. So Nash,
I was gonna say one of your comps at your best. The facilitator.
No way.
I've heard you say it before when you were drunk. And the other one,
that's not. Yeah. No, I don't think there's a certain level of comps. I mean, we could talk about basketball comps and like how like run of the mill players describe themselves as NBA players, and like there's a certain upper echelon of guys that probably should be never touched if you never played college basketball. And I don't fall in that category. I never played college basketball, so I probably should never compare myself to Steve Nash. Should never compare myself to Steph Curry, Dirk, LeBron. I mean, I'm not going to get compared to those guys anyway, but I'm just saying like they seem a little bit off limits. And then the other 2-time MVP winner who did not win an NBA Finals is
90s.
Well, Jordan won, Hakeem won. Who are our other finals winners in that era?
Just Jordan. Who did they beat? Think about who they beat.
Oh, Malone. Yeah.
My finals my player comp was retired last night.
He retired from the NBA?
Yeah, my player comp. I think. Yeah, he did. My
you
player
notice
comp.
Haslam?
It's my player comp.
Is that your player comp?
Has to be an older Haslam. Just like the on the bench, high-fiving, like hyping, coaching, helping, all that. That's my player.
No,
that's
your
my player
comp is it's not a poor man's version of this. I think it's the worst man's version of Andre Miller as your player comp.
Okay.
I just you're not a power forward. You know what I mean?
No.
So it's like the Udonis Haslam comp is tough, but I like you've got
Tony
the same
Tony Snell.
zeros in every category. No.
I get boards. I get boards and play in dimes.
And to be honest, Tony Snell is a pretty good spot up 3-point shooter, and that's not necessarily your forte.
Not at all. But it is a forte of several of the guys on the Nuggets last night. Murray with the assist, he was dishing. Jokic was masterful. I was close to the game score. I did hit. I don't want to brag. I don't want to boast. But the Heat covering and the under was my pick.
It was a great pick.
Thank you. What else do we got here?
An overall ugly game, especially in the second half. Like chaotic basketball.
But fun final six, which is what you're really looking for in a closeout game.
Yeah, I mean, I know you don't want to talk about it because you want to spend time on the Nuggets and
I want to spend time on the Heat too.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Butler was pretty terrible in this game until there was a moment where he hit those back-to-back threes, and then of course the gift that turned it into a 1-point game late in the game that should have been overturned. I don't necessarily know if it was an offensive foul, but I don't think it was definitely not a foul. And I'm surprised that they went to the monitor there and ended up with the same call.
Yeah.
If they had gotten that, they got the call. He hit all 3 free throws. If they had ended up winning that game, that's the only thing we would have been talking about. So I think what was supposed to happen happened. And Jokic, as he has been the entirety of the playoffs, was cool, calm, and collected in that fourth quarter. He was very high percentage in that fourth quarter. That floater that he has, the touch, unbelievable. You could argue that every single time he gets into the paint, as good as Bam was on defense, that he was getting fouled. The refs let the guys play in this game, maybe to a certain point where it was they were missing some obvious foul calls, I thought. But ultimately, you want finals matchups, playoff matchups not to be determined by the refs. And one stat that you didn't mention was Jokic, playoff leader in points, assists, and rebounds.
First time ever.
Has never happened before. So he's an incredible player. We've been saying he's the best player in basketball for the last month and a half. I think him getting this ring is really, really important in regards to his legacy long-term. There's more basketball for him to play and to continue to go up the ranks. But I'm already seeing the postulation that he's, is he a top 20 player of all time? Is he a top 15 player of all time already?
I think, yeah, because we're ready to throw Giannis into that realm.
And ultimately, but we did not. Giannis is not a top 20 player for me right now. Is he a top 20 player for you?
Yeah. Like, okay, let me ask you, who would you rather have at their best, Kevin Garnett or Giannis?
I think I would. This might be kind of blasphemous, but right now I think I'd rather have Kevin Garnett. I'd certainly rather have Dirk than Giannis. And we've talked about this before because of his ability to close out games and his numbers. Okay, by the way, the Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic pick and roll was something that was highly touted and everyone was talking about it. The Jason Terry, Dirk Nowitzki pick and roll, the plus minus of when they were on the court together is like twice as good as what Jamal Murray and Jokic's pick and roll was, which is just a wild stat and how good Jason Terry was in that finals run. And honestly, like they're very reminiscent of each other. Jamal Murray hitting that pull-up jumper that he had from the elbow was eerily reminiscent in my mind as a Mavs fan of what Jason Terry used to do coming off of that screen with Dirk. And obviously they both have the pick and pop in there. Jokic shot excellent from the three the entirety of the playoffs. And, if he slips and you get it to him going downhill, he's even more of a force to deal with than Dirk is going to the rack. But Dirk did finish very, very well when they were playing the Heat in that 2011 finals. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a ton of different interesting conversations in regards to ranking of Murray and Jokic. like I mentioned with Jokic in the all-time conversations, I don't think there's any question about where he is currently in the NBA. Murray, is he a top 25 guy? Is he even higher than that? Where does he rank in the point guard rankings? Like, we're going to have these conversations for the entirety of the offseason. And
I threw up on our Twitter, is he a top 25 player?
It's hard to say no right now.
Here's the thing. If we were throwing people, and there was times we were discussing Jokic as like, a top 20 guy. Giannis. If we're going to throw Giannis in there, we have to throw Jokic in there. There was times we were talking about Drew Holiday after his playoff performance when the Bucks won as a top 25 guy. If we're going to do that, and Drew Holiday, again, had a masterful year this year, I think we have to throw Murray in there because Murray was fantastic in his playoff run. Obviously, the Nuggets don't get there without Jokic. I don't think they necessarily win without Murray. I think Murray is vital. I think Murray's vital to them winning the championship.
100%. So is Aaron Gordon. So is KCP in this last game. I mean,
MPJ had his best game.
Christian Brown, like all these guys are vital in winning. So I would say there's a separate conversation between, is this guy a top 25 player in the NBA right now versus is this a guy that you would want to lead your team? That list, that top 25 is probably different than who is currently a top 25 player in the NBA based off of circumstance and where guys play. And Jamal Murray gets to play with Nikola Jokic, but they just won the ultimate prize as the duo, the best two players on their team. I
think we put such an emphasis on, can he lead a team? How about, can he be a great complementary piece? No one ever talks about that. Can he be a great number two? Like Scottie was a great number two.
Well, that's because the conversation is normally talking about a guy who already exists as an excellent complementary piece and wondering if they could be their own engine to a team, right? That was always the conversation with Clay, and one that you were always like, man, if they do break it up, I wouldn't be that disappointed because I want to see Clay have his own team.
Yeah, I would love to have seen Clay have his own team at his best, but I'm also not disappointed in what we got to see with the Warriors. I think it's like, can you win because of this guy? Can you, like, as their number one? And, we've dwindled down that list, but I just feel like, again, to my point being, and I'm with you, like, they're like, all right, can this guy lead his team? Can Murray lead his team? But I think a point that's never discussed is this guy a great complementary piece? Is this guy a great number two? Like, Dwayne Wade, as good as he was as a number one, was an awesome number two to LeBron. Bosh was a number one, a guy. It's like, he is the number one, but could he be? He was in that category of like, he is the number one on the Raptors, but is he the number one like that you can win with? He went to the number three. Him and Ray Allen became number threes. They went from number ones to number threes.
I mean, fit is crucial. That's what this Nuggets run was all about, right? Fit and continuity and consistency from the coach, the front office. A winning culture from the owner, who now, I think in the last year and a half, has won 4 separate championships in 4 different leagues. The Avalanche, the Nuggets, I think the MLL team, and then who am I forgetting?
Who are we talking about? Sorry, Stan?
I'm talking about Kroenke. Yeah.
He's got the Rams.
And the Rams, right.
It's like not his money either.
Right, but it's right.
I think it's his wife. I think he married Rich. Bought all these teams. What a baller, dude! Absolute baller. Like, that is some serious hammercock confidence out of Stan Kroenke. Just is, honestly, really, really big bones out of him. But yeah, I mean, again, Murray. These guys are. There should, I always feel, be, rather than focus on someone being the best or being the number one, there should be an added bonus to being a great teammate. And Murray is a phenomenal number two and a phenomenal teammate. And I think he deserves those kudos and is a complimentary piece to Jokic. Ditto with KCP, Gordon, MPJ, and all these guys.
Everybody's a complimentary piece when they're playing with Nikola Jokic on the court.
But there's a clear cut, but we're talking about them as a duo.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like.
And they might be the best duo in the league.
It's clearly been indicated that guy just makes whoever is next to him better, whether it's the guy that's the number 2 on the team or the number 3 or the number 4 or the number 5. I mean, we've talked about it multiple times. Plenty of these guys on this team, Brown, Gordon, MPJ, all had career high offensive ratings this year. It's because they're playing with Nikola Jokic.
But they're the right guys to be around him too, I think, in some respects. Like, I think Murray, while yes, Jokic elevates everyone's game, and it's easy to be the number 2 when you have the number 1 of the one. But they're also the right guys to be around him. I think Murray is the right piece to be around with Jokic, almost as much as he makes him better.
Well, I don't know. I always am going to favor the guy that is the best player on the team and that guy always affects other guys in a more grandiose way. And now I would say when you're talking about Milwaukee and you're talking about Giannis and him getting his first championship and us considering him a top 20 player, between the two of these guys, who feels so at the time we were like, okay, Giannis top 20 player, maybe that's changed and we've cooled on that a little bit, but he's still between 18 and 25, whatever you want to say. It's different for every single person. It's a subjective list. And I think career longevity and what they're able to do over that sustained longevity is important and impactful. So that's why I think there's more to just wait and see with Giannis. Where are you between these two guys, between Giannis and Jokic?
Well, going back to it, the guys you brought up, I would take Jokic over Garnett. Well, I brought him up, but I would take Jokic over Garnett. And then KG's my guy. I've grown to love Dirk because you love him so much. And obviously he's just an awesome basketball player. I'd probably take Jokic over Dirk. And if I'm going off your point and your argument that you would take Dirk over Giannis, which you Garnett over Giannis, I don't necessarily agree with off the dome. But if I'm emphatically taking Jokic over the aforementioned two greats, the Hall of Famers, two guys that for me are in the top 20, top 25 lists, then yeah, I'm taking Jokic over Giannis. Jokic should have won his third. He should have won his third MVP. He's a more skilled. Dude, he did something that no one has ever. He's led in points, rebounds, assists. He's the most skilled big. Redick and Stephen A were having, and I guess Mad Dog, but he was kind of just sitting there. We're having this argument on First Take, and Stephen A just tried to bring dominance in and started comparing him to Shaq, who is better than everyone we've listed so far. Jokic is the most skilled, and Redick said it, and I agree. He's the most skilled big man we've seen. Is he a better shooter? Would I want him scoring over Dirk? No. Would I want him on defense over Garnett or Giannis? No. Is he as, forcefully dominant as Giannis? Not necessarily. But someone asked if we could see. Yeah, we could see the comments inside Edge Sports. Shabbat Shalom. An early Shabbat Shalom. It's only Tuesday. How you doing? Is he as forcefully dominant as Giannis, Shaq, and Garnett? No. But to me, none of those guys pass like him. He's a great rebounder. He's a great offensive rebounder. His shot is still really nice. His fadeaway is awesome. To me, Jokic is the most skilled big I've ever seen, so I have to put him in my top 20. He's got multiple MVPs. Probably should have had a three-peat, which would have put him in that, again, upper echelon of an even smaller number of guys that have won multiple. Steph hasn't done that. Obviously, KD and Harden, Westbrook guys we've listed have only won one. Kobe's got one. Shaq's got one, multiple finals MVPs. He would have jumped into that three-peat range, which is crazy, and he would have jumped into the guys that have won 3+, which is, LeBron, Mike, and Kareem. Wilt, Bird, Magic, okay. So now, and I'm off the top of my dome, I'd imagine Chamberlain and Russell are in there.
Russell, probably,
I have to check. But he's in that group of guys that have won 3 so he should have been there. He wasn't fine, but he goes and gets his finals MVP handily. He goes and gets his Western Conference Finals MVP, and he gets his NBA ring. And quite frankly,
I think just generally my only point of hesitance there is let's slow our roll a little bit and give due credit to these guys that played 12+ careers before we just start saying players are better than them. I get what you're saying, and we have to acknowledge our recency bias here. We have to also acknowledge that the eras change and these guys turn into different types of athletes and they play the game in a different way and the stats look different. We have to acknowledge that, because Kevin Garnett played for a really long time. Dwayne Wade, who's between probably 20 and 25 on my personal list, played an incredibly long career, played the majority of the career with the Miami Heat, won multiple championships, and you have him behind a guy like Kevin Garnett. So
Well, I didn't say
You have to think about these things in
I didn't throw
consideration.
Wade into Garnett. I haven't delved into Wade versus Garnett yet. That wasn't really discussed.
Okay, but tell me who you have on the higher on the list.
I had to think about that more. I don't want to give a gut check answer right there, and I'm not backing off of your.
I've seen your list before, and you had Garnett in your top 20, and you didn't have Dwayne Wade. Now your list could have changed, of course.
I mean, Garnett's an MVP of the league.
That's right.
It's tough. It's tough. Garnett's an MVP of the league. Jokic is an 8-year player. If we round up, he averaged a triple-double this season. Should have been the MVP again for this third year in a row. He's the best player in the league. I have no problem putting him at his best from what I've seen into that top 20 range. They're the favorites going into next year at plus 475. I see no reason the Celtics are plus 575. The Bucks are plus 700. The Suns are plus 850.
I wouldn't describe that as like going into next season with dominant odds. You know what I mean? Like there's not an acknowledgement that this team There's not an acknowledgement that this team dominated as much as they did in the Western Conference and in the finals. If you just look at those odds,
which is why I would make that bet.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than what you're going to get unless like one of those Jamal Murrays or MPJs or someone really crucial to their success goes down for a large portion of the season and it sways their seeding or something like that. You're talking about like in the middle of the season, then maybe your odds would get in a more favorable position. But yeah, I mean, typically when a team wins in as dominant fashion in whatever sport you're talking about, whether it's the MLB, the NFL, or the NBA, they come into the next season closer to like a plus 275, plus 350. So yeah, if you think the Nuggets are going to run it back to back, then do it and sprinkle a little bit of quiche on there. Matt, you mentioned Mad Dog Russo on First Take, and the fact that JJ does have a lot of excellent basketball points. Mad Dog Russo also had the Oklahoma City Thunder as his number 5 contender for next season.
No. Don't. I just mentioned him because he was on the thing I watched. I was not crediting or propping up any of his.
No, I know. I'm also just bringing that to the table because I thought it was ridiculous and hilarious. He had the Kings at 4. He had who did he have at 3? He had the Nuggets at 2 and he had the Warriors at 1. I will remember who he had at the 3, but he did not
Lakers?
have the Celtics. No, it wasn't. He didn't have
Bucks.
The Lakers. He didn't have the Celtics. I guess it had to have been the Bucks.
I think he likes Giannis. I don't remember. Honestly, he's not a guy I tune into frequently, and we'll leave it at that. Okay, let's vote. Best moments of the finals. I got him right here too. Post game. Sorry. Let's try to bring him up right here. Oh, no, I just made you smaller. My bad, dude.
Did you ever answer? Did you give me a strict answer on Giannis or Jokic now? Just your gut check.
Jokic. Sorry, yeah. I thought I did. Yeah, easily for me. This is option 1, the beer pour. Jokic is coming and pouring. He's doing that a lot, pouring beer on his head. Thought that was a good one.
Okay,
that was a good option. Fun option. I'm not gonna. This was a good one. This is the classic. This is what everyone's loving right now. A little dangerous, just saying, but I'm not going to be a parent here. Into the pool.
Big tree falls hard, definitely.
Yeah, and, there's a cannonball that comes in and follows suit. Very fun. One that I don't have up right now currently is Jokic wanting to go home and being told that he has to stay in Denver for the parade, and him huffing and puffing. I thought that was a good jest. Sorry, I don't have that up at the moment.
I don't think it's a jest. I think that's how he feels.
I know, exactly. Which is, a jest for the rest of us. But this to me is, I'm sorry, this does not get better. Aaron Gordon in the streets of Denver, shirtless. The fans ushering him through.
Yeah, that's epic. He's still wearing his game shorts.
Does it get better for you, or is that's to me that's
and to a level where the fans are receiving him and celebrating with him, in a way that's comfortable for him to actually celebrate, in a way that's not like intrusive, but it's like this togetherness with his city. He mentioned all basketball runs through the Mile High City now. He's right. They're the reigning champs. I love that. I love that video. It's awesome. And what I tweeted this last night because I just wanted everyone to know who had forgotten that Cody Zeller was the 4th overall pick in the 2013 draft. Aaron Gordon was also the 4th overall pick. And when you're the 4th overall pick, there's a lot of pressure that's put on you. And he ended up in Orlando playing for a team that I think at one point in time, over the course of probably 3 years that we had watched that team, we were like, they won't win a championship in our lifetime. I don't necessarily believe that anymore, but that just is a testament to what that team was going through, what that organization has gone through after post Dwight. It's been really challenging for them. And the trade that the Denver Nuggets made to go get Aaron Gordon, who was their best defender in every single round, who spent a lot of time in this NBA Finals on Jimmy Butler and did an excellent job. Whether Butler is ailing from the ankle injury or not, Aaron Gordon still has to make those plays. The block on Lowry at the end of the shot clock was a ton of fun. Apparently he told him it's time to retire after he blocked him, which is hilarious. Just the energy that he brought to this team and what he was able to do to work off of Jokic. We're talking about Jokic working with Jamal Murray. There was always that weak side lob that was a threat for this offensive team because of Aaron Gordon. Early in game one, what he was able to do, 14 points in that first quarter, backing guys down. He made himself a presence in this series and throughout the entire playoffs, and he was crucial to the success of this team. And he was the 3rd best player for this team. When you look at this entire season, I know he's not paid like he's the 3rd best player, and that's Michael Porter Jr., who had a gritty, competitive game in this closeout where he hit a big shot. He seemed like the only guy that could play in the 3rd quarter. He was driving the basket. And I know I'm bringing this up because I think you have an opportunity when you are shooting poorly to head in the opposite direction. And Malone even was benching him late game moments in this series, but he didn't in this closeout game. He played him at the end, and Porter Jr. just shows just excellent resolve, which I would expect from a guy who's had to deal with such, just incredible adversity thus far in his career with the injuries, with being a highly touted recruit coming out of high school, the number 1 recruit coming out of high school. And then the way that things changed for his own narrative going into college and then going into the NBA, not being a top 5 pick. This is a well-crafted team that played well together, that played an excellent brand of basketball. That was really fun for me to watch. Like you mentioned, like this game was ugly on the offense for both teams. Neither team shot it well, but they all competed, and that was the kind of the story of these finals. And even though it was, an easy-ish finals for them, I still felt like the Heat were trading blows with them at many moments. And I mentioned Kyle Lowry getting blocked. Kyle Lowry stepped up in this game. He was huge. He hit massive shots. Bam Adebayo, look, you and I need to go back to the drawing board on Bam Adebayo and where he falls on that top 25 or top 35, because that guy was a warrior in this series.
Top 35. I don't think he ever really faltered out of the top 35, but definitely fell out of the top 25. But I think we're going to have to make a reassessment list this week, heading prior to the NBA draft.
I mean, as good as Jamal Murray was, my instincts based off of watching this finals is that Bam Adebayo is higher than Jamal Murray. And I know that might be something crazy to say, but that guy, he did as much as he could. He offensively gave Jokic a real challenge. And that guy is 4 inches shorter than him, maybe 5. Like what he was able to do, I was incredibly impressed with. And coming out of the Celtics series where I said, look, this is the inconsistencies that we've gotten from this guy, which has made us kind of be wishy-washy on him. Is he a star? Is he a superstar? Is he somewhere in between? He gave me a little more confidence that there's room for him to continue to grow and become a true bona fide superstar. Maybe not a guy that is a top 10 player in the league. Maybe not a guy that you could win because of, but a guy that win with, and a guy that I want on my team.
Oh, he's gotten there twice. This is his second fight. He's been there twice. Like Tatum, Brown, like all the Bam Adebayo's been there twice. He's right there. And that's what I wanted to bring up. And I was looking up some Miami Heat contracts, draft picks. They're in a position if they use Tyler Hero, if they use some of their draft capital, which they're not depleted of. I think people think they are. I kind of had an inkling they would be, but they're not. They can go after Lillard. And I think that sets them up. If they had Damian Lillard in this series, this is going to 7. The Miami Heat would not have been a team that was trifled with, joked about, not taken seriously, and they would have gotten to the finals with Lillard, and they would have taken this Nuggets team as to their depths. And no shake on the Nuggets, but we're talking about a guy that could average 30 points per game in a series. Add a whole new wrinkle to that Miami offense. I'm not talking about a spot up 3-point shoot threat. I'm talking about a guy that creates his own shot, a guy that can hit from anywhere in the court, a guy that's absolutely lethal, a guy that gets to the rack, a guy that gets to the line. We're talking about one of the best premier scorers in the game. And as good as Butler and Bam were, neither of those guys are. And Butler had unbelievable scoring performances in the NBA playoffs, but I don't think we put him as a top 10 scorer per se in the league when we put Damian Lillard in that category, and adds a whole nother element. They said they're going to be aggressive and going for a star, and I think that's where they have to look in Portland. They have to beat whoever is going. Someone is going to get Damian Lillard, and they have to beat them to the punch.
Yeah, I think they would benefit a lot from having Dame on their squad. I think they would have, against a team like the Nuggets, some similar lapses defensively. If Dame is out there as opposed to Gabe Vincent, like that doesn't change. They're hunting Dame on defense every possession.
Yeah, but you're also not risking a game where a guy could go 2 of 10. And where did he go? He didn't shoot that well last night. Like, and as good as Gabe Vincent was for what he was, like you're upgrading massively offensively. You're not putting up 89 points.
No, I mean Gabe Vincent had to be a 21 points per game guy through the first 2 games for them to split. Right? He had to play and shoot almost 60% and over 50% from the 3. He had to be nearly perfect. And they didn't have Tyler Hero. So you would presume that would be the kind of main engine behind the trade with the Blazers and the 3 first-round draft picks that they're able to ship away. And what else do you have to give? Mm-hmm. I think Strus is a question mark that they're going to have to answer in regards to re-signing him or someone else giving him some sort of bag, whatever that looks like. So, he played really important minutes for them throughout the entire playoffs. I know he didn't shoot as well this regular season and in the playoffs, but he cuts really well. He did hit some timely shots. All of the players on their team offensive rebound well. Kyle Lowry, Strus, Martin. How many tip outs did this team give themselves and extra opportunities? So even if they bring Damian Lillard in, I think there's still question marks as to the rest of the roster. What are you getting out of Kyle Lowry next year? What are you getting out of Kevin Love next year?
Those
guys get one more year. Both get moved.
You got to try to move off Lowry's contract. You may have to package Lowry and Tyler Hero in the deal. Lowry's got 1 year left in his contract. It's a big contract. You may have to use that to match salary. Because I don't know where else they're gonna get that from. I'm looking at their. Give me a second. Pull it up for you.
Didn't we do this a week ago?
I think we did.
I think the answer was that if you have Lowry and Harrow in there, then the Blazers would have to add something additional.
Small though, with petite.
Those are players, and players they move the needle one way or the other, especially if they're young players and players that the Blazers believe to have promise. They know them better than anyone. They've seen these guys develop or they've scouted them for a reason. They've brought them onto this team for a reason. So to say that they will just give up whoever to bring in Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry and 3 first-round picks, but that's not something that we've seen the Blazers operate as from a front office standpoint, where they've been willing to just dive head into.
Are they going to get a better offer? Rebuild. No, they haven't, but I don't know if they're going to get I wonder what they could get a better offer.
There are teams that can give them a better offer. That's for sure.
For sure. I just don't know what that's going to look like necessarily. I do want to get to a couple other things in the wild world of sports. Congrats to the Denver Nuggets. Awesome stuff. I want to do a little game. We started playing a game yesterday. I have it pulled up. We'll do the Texans schedule again. We're going in reverse order of the draft picks in the NFL. We'll play a name the team game. We'll see how you do there, Toss. But first, I want to say the Vegas Knights. We don't cover hockey a lot, but they are on the verge of winning their first Stanley Cup. And I just was looking, just nerding out here. I got my list. Expansion teams since 1990 in the 4 major sports. MLB, Marlins in 1993. They have 2 World Series. The Rockies also 1993. They have 1 appearance in the World Series, no wins. D-backs 98. They have 1 World Series. And the D-Rays, now they're just the Rays. They got rid of the devil, which is hilarious. They have 1 appearance. They're also 1998. Hornets, Pels, Bobcats, like the 0204, neither here nor there, 0 appearances. The Grizz, 0 appearances. And the Raptors, 95, 1 world title. NFL, Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland leaves, goes to Baltimore, 2 Super Bowls. Texans in 02, nothing. The Browns returned in 1999. We obviously know how that's gone. We have the Thurs in 95, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 0 wins, and the Jags in 95 as well, no Super Bowls. So about 4 or 5 teams per. NHL, ready for this? Lot. The NHL is quietly expanded the most since 1990. Sharks 91, they're 0 for 1. Senators are 0 for 1 in the Stanley Cup. Tampa Bay Lightning, since their expansion edition in 1992, are 3 out of 4. Kind of crazy. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks in 93, 1 of 2. The Thurs in Florida are 0 for 2, barring they lose tonight. Nashville Predators are 0 for 1. The Atlanta Thrashers then turned Winnipeg Jets. Shout out to the Atlanta Thrashers are not Bobcats level, but borderline. They have not been. Columbus Blue Jackets, Minnesota Wild, neither have been. The Vegas Knights, if they win tonight, will be 1 of 2, and then the Kraken as of recent. Go for it. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Expansion teams.
Well, the Kraken are year 1 of 1.
Babies. Year 2. Year 2.
Year
2.
Check yourself there.
You Carfaxing me right now?
Well, I mean, we should know. If
we
we're learning about hockey,
if we're learning about hockey, we should
learn.
know. We should learn. I'm committed to learning. They were founded in 2021. Second. They 2 years. Didn't make the playoffs last year. They were terrible, but they made the playoffs this year.
Shout out to them. They got to the second round.
Shout out.
And lost to the Dallas Stars. Yeah. What about teams that like relocated? Did you consider that? Like severe relocation too?
Well, the Browns went from.
So Browns, so run me through the logic of like, because the Browns go to Baltimore, right?
There's the Baltimore Colts. They went to Indianapolis, but that wasn't. I don't remember when that was.
So why did the Oklahoma City Thunder not fall in that same territory as what you did?
I mean, I just didn't do the relocation because I continued them from the Seattle Supersonics. But yes, I guess the Thunder would have counted.
Okay.
And the Thunder have no titles, 1 appearance as the Thunder, but the Seattle Supersonics have won the World Championship. Yeah, sorry. Apologies.
No, I mean this is a big moment for the Knights. I don't want to see the Stanley Cup Finals end in a Game 5. I didn't really want to see the NBA Finals end in a Game 5, but I did appreciate that it was on the Nuggets home court. I thought that added to the experience of watching that post game just process. So I think that would be really cool. For the Knights to win on their home ice, obviously, but Matthew Tkachuk, man, he's dangerous. Don't let him get cooking in this game.
Don't let the man get hot. Let's go to baseball really quickly. I want to get your thoughts. I feel like this is something you'd like. The A's are doing a reverse boycott.
I saw that.
where rather than boycotting not going to the games, they're boycotting by going to the games, and they're all wearing shirts to sell the team. Love that. Unbelievable.
Can't beat them, join them, kind of, but
I
also give them the finger while you join them.
Yeah, it's a very hilarious moment. Players of the week last week in baseball, Corbin Carroll and Gunnar Henderson, both rookies. When at our best believe show this week when we're live in person, we'll do a ranking of our top 10 position players in baseball 3 months into the season. You're going to have a tough time fighting me on Corbin Carroll not being in that list. They're the best team in the
his numbers are incredibly impressive. The best team in the NL West right now, right?
Best team in the NL West by now. They haven't won the NL West since, you want to take a guess?
98 when they went to the World Series.
They didn't go to the World Series that year.
2003.
11.
Okay.
12 years. So they have not won a division title in 12 years. Pretty long time. So Corbin Carroll, there's a lot of good players right now on the Diamondbacks. Really good, a lot of great moves by the GM, a lot of good guys in their system, Drew Jones, Jordan Lawler. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention Corbin Carroll being one of the best and brightest young stars in the game. And to me, a top 10 position player out in Arizona. And then Gunnar Henderson was the number one prospect. He started off really slow at the dish, but he's been scorching hot in June. And that's just another player that the Orioles are going to have at their disposal for the future. So I wanted to give those guys their shout outs right there. A lot of really
disposal. It sounds like you just want them to always dish these guys.
I just know how it goes.
Okay.
I just know how it goes. Dude, Baltimore.
They have a lot of young talent, though.
A lot, exactly. They're not going to be able to.
Why do they have to? Not all of them.
Can't. I would.
Which are their?
Adley's
is an untouchable.
Adley Ruxpin is untouchable, and so is Gunnar Henderson. Those two are the two untouchables.
Okay, so if he's an untouchable, they can't have him at their disposal.
Well, I would disposal in the sense of when I said disposal, I didn't mean.
You just got your GM hat on always. You're just ready.
Well, no, I am, but I didn't mean. Sorry, I didn't mean disposal. More a deploy. Like deploying a player out to play would probably be the proper terminology. Disposal, I don't mean like, oh, they're going to trade him in a couple years. Because quite frankly, for the Baltimore Orioles to be successful, they probably have to lock him and Adley Ruxpin down for the foreseeable future. We'll see how that looks, though. Number one prospect doing well. We'd love to see that. Don't we love to see that, Jackie? And then last, I would say on our list, I got a new game for you.
Who's the number one prospect right now? Jordan Walker?
But he's up. So Jackson Chourio.
Okay, cool.
Milwaukee. I mean, right now on the list, I'll give you the list quickly because I love it. I love prospects in baseball. Walker's up, so we're not going to count him. De La Cruz is fourth, but he's also up. Yuri Perez also up in the Marlins. He's sixth. Number one, technically, then would be Jackson Chourio, outfielder, Milwaukee Brewers. He's in Double-A. Number three. In single A plus Jackson
Holiday. Yeah.
Crazy. Holiday, our boy Marcelo Mayer, he's in Double-A. He's 5. The Diamondbacks have the 8th and 11th prospect, Lawler and Drew Jones.
And then Drew. Yeah.
Pretty rich get richer. You know, that's the way it's done. Keeping that farm heavy.
Right between those two guys is an outfielder by the name of Evan Carter.
Yeah, again, like the Rangers being in first place as well and having that at their disposal. Having him at the helm.
No, I think a guy like that is system. Like you never know. Those guys get moved especially for contenders if they.
Yeah, but he'd have to get moved for a lot. I'm trying to find
for
like James Wood is number 7 and he was moved for Soto. So, and he wasn't even the best player in that deal, going into it. I remember Nick being like, "Ooh, I'm not stoked we gave up on him because he's going to be pretty good." So he's over there in Washington now. All right, you ready for the game? Let me get my clock ready.
Yeah, what is it again?
I'll explain. New game. This game's a fun one. You're going to name as many teams as you possibly can in 30 seconds.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a distinction on the team.
Okay.
So It could be location, color,
Like it could be like Jungle Cat.
cat, champion in the recent memory since 2010. It could be as tough or as it could be anything. You have no idea what's going to come. You just have 30 seconds to name as many teams.
Whatever the topic is that you give me and teams in that topic.
Correct. Now look, preface this.
As many teams at my disposal that I have.
Exactly. I'm gonna die on the hill of the word disposal. All right. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to name in 3, 2, 1 as many teams as you can name that reside in the state of Pennsylvania. 3, 2, 1, go.
The Pirates, the Phillies, the Eagles, the Flyers, the Penguins, the Steelers, the Northwestern Wildcats, that's Chicago. That's Illinois. Ugh. Okay, whatever.
7. Did you say the Sixers? I didn't hear Sixers.
No, I didn't say the Sixers.
Pretty good though. Pirates, Phillies, 7 solid. Teams you could have gone with: Sixers. Northwestern is not located in Philadelphia. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Villanova.
Let's make it clear that I corrected myself.
We'll make it clear. You did. I think you did as well as you could have.
No,
minus the Sixers.
The Quakers is. I couldn't think of their mascot.
You got Phillies, Pirates, Eagles, Penguins, Flyers, Steelers, and there was one more in there. You didn't get. I think so. You didn't get Pitt University,
right? The Panthers, the Penn Quakers,
the
76ers, Wildcats,
and the 76ers were ones you missed. I would say.
What about
Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs?
Where's like hold on.
You could have done Penn, Temple.
That's what I said. The Quakers. I said that like 3 times. That's not your Ivy team. No, it's okay. It's okay.
No way. My Ivy team's Harvard.
Yeah, that I could have the Owls, right?
Penn State.
Yep.
Nittany
Lions.
Yeah, LaSalle. Bucknell.
I don't know LaSalle's mascot. What's LaSalle's mascot?
I appreciate you doing mascots too. That was good. LaSalle's mascot is the Explorers. Remember, they're the ones with like the red. I didn't know it either, but they're the ones with the telescope. They made a sweet. They hit a Sweet 16, I believe.
Who was
Pretty
the
good.
other one you mentioned?
Drexel, Temple,
the Dragons. Yeah.
the Towels, Temple Owls.
Where is Drexel? Is that the city's name?
No. Maybe Drexel, Pennsylvania. That sounds about right.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Okay.
Cool beans. Well, good show. Good go. You have a lot at your disposal in regards to teams playing in Pennsylvania. Fans out there, drag both feet inbound, swing on a full count, rip that puck, hit that putt, hit your PKs because they're free, and your free throws wide toss.
Because they're free.
They are free. We out ya. We love ya.